Welcome to this edition of City Talk. Perhaps you've had an emergency recently and you were forced to call 911, but there is another number to call in the city for non-emergencies, and that is 311. And Tyler Long is a 311 specialist, and he joins us on City Talk. Tyler, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. I like specialists.
Is that good, 311 specialist?
And anytime you can add another superlative to your title,
Are you an extra specialist?
Some days.
Okay. Glad to hear that. Nice tie, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much.
So tell us about 311. What kinds of calls come in? It is the non-emergency either complaint line or response line, whatever you prefer.
Right. Well, that sometimes you get the ones that are right on the edge there. Some people don't want to, bother the police, but past that, we get everything and anything you could possibly imagine going on in the city. Everything from, stray cats to missed pickups to, it's the winter, so we got a lot of potholes right now.
I actually called 311 recently because there was a squirrel in my apartment.
There you go.
I still don't know how it got in, and by the time the animal control people showed up, it had left, apparently the same way it came in.
Wow.
So every time I go in my apartment now, I'm still spooked. Is that a typical kind of call?
Honestly, it is.
Okay.
I mean, it's very general stuff most days because, those are the issues that are facing people in the city that want corrected right away. And who wants a squirrel in their apartment?
It really scared me. They explained to me that it was scared of me too, and that it really wasn't going to attack me. Although one guy said, yeah, just one time one just jumped on my shoulder and jumped right off. I'm like, that doesn't make me feel any better.
Oh yeah, that's very comforting, I'm sure.
But you have to counsel people through things that they're worried about, among other things.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, you definitely have to have a fair amount of empathy to do it because you have to understand that these are the issues that people are dealing with during the day. And one of the things that's really struck me early on was how much pride people take in living here and being from Pittsburgh. So any little thing like that is, more or less a direct kind of personal hit on their situation.
I have a friend who's just moved to Beachview, and she has a neighbor with a cage where occasionally a bunch of dogs occupy the cage, but there are many poop droppings in the cage. Would she call you about that?
Absolutely. And I would be happy to help her.
What would you do? What would you say?
Well, I would tell her to have it. No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't tell her to have a nice day. We'd have a situation there where we need to get in touch with animal control. So, depending on her schedule, we're either going to get her over right during the call or she's going to have to get in touch with them another time. But their refuse problem will be solved.
Okay, now what if she's afraid that the neighbor will retaliate?
Oh, you can report anonymously.
Can you?
Yeah, absolutely. You don't have to give a name, phone number, or even an email address. So you can just report your problem and hang up the phone and call it a day.
Do a lot of people call in and just to say that my neighbor's property is, not up to snuff? It's broken, or there's broken windows, or there's stuff on the lawn, whatever?
Sure, absolutely. Well, that's what I was saying. People take a lot of pride in being from Pittsburgh. So when you have a neighbor who maybe isn't holding up their end of the bargain as far as you can tell, people like to call in and make their voice heard about those situations.
So where are you from originally?
I am from Huntington, not North Huntington. It's in the middle part of the state, about a half hour south of State College. You have to point out landmarks because otherwise you'd never find it.
All right, so it's a rural setting?
You could say that.
And then how did you end up here?
Well, I moved here in July with my wife from Philadelphia. We both came out for school and for work.
Oh, where'd you go to school here?
Well, I haven't enrolled anywhere yet.
Okay.
I finished up with an associate's in psychology from Montgomery Community College, right outside of Philly in the suburbs there. So we wanted to get acclimated this first year, and it's been fantastic.
Well, how is the acclimation process going? How do you like Pittsburgh?
Not bad would be a severe understatement.
You're really in love with it?
Yeah. My mom and dad and their whole families are from around here. So when I was growing up, I had a lot of the Pittsburgh experience, and now I'm getting to really enjoy it as an adult.
How would you describe the Pittsburgh experience, or what kinds of things are you talking about? Just the accent, you mean? Or?
Well, yeah. Well, the accent you can nail any old day, but just really getting to take more appreciation for the things you appreciate more as an adult, the culture, the different neighborhoods, just the different ways you can get involved in making the city better.
Do you feel like that you play a role in making the city better by working in government and dealing with the people that you deal with?
I do. It may sound hokey, but I really do. That was
You take a sort of Jimmy Stewart approach to it.
Yeah. I hope so. I really do like the people here, and I like what I'm doing. Part of the reason that I took the job in the first place was to get inside these walls and see what's going on and try to make a difference here.
So what is going on inside these walls?
Absolute madness. No, obviously any city I think is probably controlled chaos, but I think what people need to realize is the people in here care as much about these types of things as the folks at home do, and maybe all these types of issues don't get solved as quickly as they hope. But again, it's the same way in these walls. We all want better.
Do people want to call in sometimes just to talk?
Absolutely. I mean, you love a good afternoon story in between the soaps, or maybe after The Price is Right.
Oh, they tell you a story.
Well, I mean, absolutely. You got to hear the tales of the day and whatever was going on. You know, maybe a stray cat ran across the window, and you got to call in. But it's great.
And how much time can you spend with them, or does that just depend on the volume of calls on a particular day?
Well, it does depend on the volume, but luckily, the way that the supervisors have the program set up is we don't really have to usher anyone off the phone. I mean, obviously, you'd like the calls to be taken care of pretty quickly, but if someone's going to ramble, we're going to let them ramble, because that's their prerogative, and this is their line.
Do you have a vague idea of ramblers versus succinct to the point people?
No, I actually kind of enjoy it all, so I don't really make any determination.
Okay. No, I just mean it's like 50-50, or just it's so random it's hard to even say.
Oh, the real good ramblers are maybe 1 in a dozen. You know.
Oh, okay. So,
I mean the true trophy stories.
The 30-minute people.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. What did you have any idea what to expect when you first joined the team?
I had no idea, honestly, because I'd had call center and customer service experience, but this is a different animal. Working for the people in the city, you're not selling a product, and you're not trying to maybe get involved in a situation that's a little bit different. It's a very personal thing to them.
Somebody called you the other day and asked you for the phone number for a certain pizza place.
Yes, they did. And I don't want to say it because I don't want to go there, and I'd much rather hit one of the local spots.
No, we don't have to say the name, but what I mean is, did you look up the number for that person? And that's sort of going above and beyond, right?
Yeah, but I mean, that's kind of the goal of the group in there. I mean, it's not required, but I mean, a lot of us in there, I mean, if not everyone, is going to go that extra step and look up that number. I mean, you have them on the phone, you might as well solve their issue.
And what was your associate degree in?
Psychology.
All right, so does that help in this job?
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, it's important to be an empath on the phone. But
empath?
Yes.
I like that word.
Thank you very much.
Certainly.
I appreciate that. I'm sure my professors back there will be very happy that the education paid off.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's especially good to be kind to people, and just to kind of understand where they're coming from on the other end. So, I mean, I'm certainly not going to go ahead and give anyone a diagnosis over the phone. Not credentialed, and you don't want me doing that anyway, but yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
Don't worry.
You, sir, are schizophrenic.
We're not in session, don't worry.
Right, would you recommend a career in government service to your peers?
Absolutely. Come in and, it's a great group of people to work with, and we're all working towards a better Pittsburgh, so it's a common goal.
Are you surprised at the level of dedication of your fellow humans in city government, as opposed to what some consider to be the stereotype of a waste of space?
Well, absolutely. I think I've always had an appreciation for the positions that people are in, so I'm not really so much surprised. Like I said, finding out how much pride people have in being from Pittsburgh really just kind of translates into here. You have a lot of people doing the best they can every day.
Does anybody call 311 and say, "Where's Tyler Long? I just want to talk to Tyler Long. He's my favorite"?
Hopefully in the future. I mean, I'd love to build a fan base.
All right, Tyler Long, thank you so
Thank you very much
for doing City Talk. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll be back actually with another person from 311 in a moment.
Hi, I'm Lisa Chaffee, City Forester with the Department of Public Works. Here at the Forestry Division, we are dedicated to maintaining a healthy urban forest because in Pittsburgh, our trees matter. If you would like to become a member of our hardworking team, please go to pghjobs.net. We are the City of Pittsburgh.
Welcome back to City Talk. On this edition, we're featuring members of the 311 response team. Say hello to Jessica Rohe Cook. Jessica, welcome to the program.
Hi.
So you haven't been doing this that long, correct?
Not too long, just since December.
How about that? And that's so like a couple of months in, a couple of 3 months.
Exactly.
And how do you find it so far? What kind of calls are you getting on the response line?
Mostly calls that are to be expected. Lots of complaints about potholes, which I think nobody would be surprised by.
Right.
One thing I was surprised by were the amount of calls that we actually get about abandoned vehicles. I didn't realize how big of a problem that was.
There are more abandoned vehicles than one might think.
There must be. Based on the call volume we get about them, I think that seems like a really big issue that I guess people
and
are.
And do you call the police, or who do you refer them to?
So it is actually the police who end up taking care of abandoned vehicles. What we do is we send we call our tickets, we use a system called Q Alert. The tickets are
Q
service.
Alert. That
Q
sounds
Alert.
very official.
It does. It's actually really nice software. But we send a service request, is what we call it, to the Zone 6 takes care of abandoned vehicles.
So you're learning a lot about what various departments do as you go.
Yeah, that's actually been, I think, one of the best parts about the job. You really get a great sense of who does what, how long it takes, things like that.
But the city moves a little faster than you thought it would, I'm guessing, even if
Well,
sometimes
yeah.
the customers are like,
Yeah,
hurry up.
definitely with some things more than others. Some things I think they're just such large problems. There's no humanly possible way that some things can be fixed as quickly as some constituents would like. But I think generally everybody does a really great job of solving the problems that we get caught in anyway.
So potholes, is that still, this winter hasn't been as harsh as previous
No.
winters, but I imagine there's still no shortage of potholes.
No, yeah, I doubt there's ever a shortage of potholes. And that's actually one thing that gets taken care of pretty, I would say the most thank you calls, and we get a lot of thank you calls.
Do you?
We do. We get a lot of thank you calls for how quickly the Department of Public Works fills in potholes.
And those people are surprised, I'm guessing.
I think, yeah, usually yes, but I think that it's I'm glad that people do the thank you calls. I think that's always nice.
Is that the nicest part of your day?
Yeah.
Have you gotten any angry calls yet?
Yeah, plenty.
Oh, really? What are people angry about?
Abandoned vehicles.
Okay.
No, they're angry about, a variety of things. Also, missed trash pickup, I think sometimes. That's always accidental, though, for the most part. But
And people you were calling you today, the day we're recording this,
Yes.
to ask if a holiday would affect trash pickup.
that's correct.
And
yeah.
does it?
Well, if it's a city holiday, for instance, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, that everything
delay
was
the day.
delayed. President's Day, not a city holiday, so they were out there in their regular schedule.
Tyler, our previous 301 guest, was telling us some people call just to chat. Does that also happen to you so far?
Sometimes, yeah, and but usually.
What do they like to chat about?
I guess it depends on the person, on the day. I usually find that you can kind of unearth some concern that you can help somebody with.
So maybe they're
at the
just
bottom
disturbed
of
and they
it.
don't even know why, and you sort of have to interview them to find out?
Yes, actually, that if I could give any helpful advice to anybody calling 311, I would always start with the address, because a lot of the times what will happen is we'll get a long line of people want us to know all these pertinent details, but it's hard for us to send anybody to help or to really figure anything out unless
you
we
don't know
know the
where they are.
address.
Yeah.
So
Okay, give your address right away.
yes.
And have you heard of any like legendary weird calls that either you've taken or other people have taken?
We've all taken our fair share of just pretty strange calls. Now that I have the opportunity to go on about them, I feel like no specific call is really coming to mind. But
That's okay.
I would say it's probably a daily occurrence where one of us hangs up the phone and is kind of like,
That person was from outer space.
I hope I answered this correctly, or
I did hear about one in which somebody said that rays were coming through somebody's house and they were secretly monitoring everything and everyone in the house.
Yes, there
And
are
wanted
some
you
like
guys
that,
to get
yeah.
rid of the rays.
Yes, there are many calls to the 311 call center that we really can't help people with. That's definitely one of them.
Jessica, where are you from?
I'm originally from O'Hare Township.
Okay.
Yep.
And you lived there most of your life?
Yeah, for the most part. There was a really, really short stint where I lived in Dallas as a young kid.
Oh, okay. Well, that must have been a culture shock. I get it.
Yeah, I can barely remember it. Some things I do. I guess I came home one day and said, "Mama, I'm fixing to watch Barney." And
You
she
did
said,
not say that.
She said, "We have to move back to Pittsburgh so
Because
she
you
can
can't
get."
be fixing to do things.
I can't be. No, I have to be writing up the house.
Oh, there you
other,
go. Yeah, yeah.
She took me from one problematic
Extreme to the
accent
other.
to
Yeah.
another, so it's pretty good.
Do you prefer the Pittsburgh to the Dallas, or do
I
you wish
do.
you had a
I
southern
do.
accent? Okay.
No, I don't.
And where'd you go to school?
I went to Fox Chapel High School.
Cool. Mm-hmm. And are you still, did you tell me, enrolled in school as we speak?
No, actually, I graduated from Pitt in April.
Oh, congratulations. What was the
Yep.
degree in?
Philosophy and political science.
And do either of those have anything to do with your current job? Or do you find them useful in any way?
I do. I feel like philosophy is a great thing to study. So you're constantly interrogating yourself about how you think about things. I think that my training in that makes my, it puts everything into a context, especially if you pair it with political science, that it makes what I'm doing rewarding, I think, for me. So.
But you're not required to share any of your philosophies with the 311 callers.
I'm not, no.
Okay.
I mean, if they ask, and
what's your philosophy about potholes? You might be able to.
I would maybe be able to think of something to placate that.
Would you recommend a career in government service to your fellow humans?
I absolutely would. I would caveat it with the stipulation that you have to like really deeply care about people in their lives. And
do you find that you do?
I think so.
But it would be a really difficult job to do if you were a cynic and you didn't really care about anybody else.
I would, yes. That's a perfect way to put it.
So you haven't lost your patience with anybody yet?
Not yet.
Is that inevitable, or?
Well,
I noticed when I visited you at your workspace, you have a picture of Mr. Rogers on your desk.
That's right.
Why is that?
I guess personal hero. And
don't be mean to the 311 people, Jessica.
Yeah.
Don't lose your patience.
Be a good neighbor. That's what we're all just trying to be good neighbors to each other, I think. So I think that.
And that is your philosophy of the 311.
I think it could be. Yeah. That's close.
Jessica Rohe, thank you so much for doing the program.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time for another edition of City Talk.